All right, everyone, if we can get settled in, this will give Brandon as much time as he has for his presentation here during Bible class. I told him I'd forego the normal introduction because probably everybody here this morning already knows who he is. Maybe we'll do that before the sermon in case we have some visitors. But yeah, this is Brandon Price. His wife Katie and the kids are here. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Across to bear, right? All right. Brandon, go on ahead.
There we go. All right, good morning, everybody. It's good to be here and good to still be here. Today is our last Sunday in the area. We'll be leaving for Idaho, some people call it, leaving for the Idaho on Thursday. But I am glad to be here this morning, and I know that not too many weeks ago, Rob Heineman was here and spoke a little bit about the same topic, and I will let you know right off the bat, this presentation is way better. Sure. I would like to see more of me too. Well, I do have a wire. I don't know how far it'll stretch here. Oh, that's it. Nope. Never mind. It's the audio because, like any good substitute teacher, I brought a movie. So I have to be connected into the audio. As a reminder, anybody remember us? We are missionaries to Ukraine from Slovakia. We've been missionaries to Ukraine for over 17 years. 14 of them were in Ukraine, and the last 3 have been outside for safety's sake because of the war. Also, the last 5 of the years in our life, I've been leading the Ukrainian Bible Institute, which is a Sunset Partner school that this church is very familiar with through the AIM program and through sending people to the Bible program there. So I want to start off right off the bat with the question most people ask as soon as we get back. Well, can I see a picture of your family? There it is. I want to address the question, how is Ukraine? People pretty much ask the same question. Say, how's Ukraine doing? Are things getting better over there? And I say, no, they're actually not better, and in a lot of ways, they're worse. In recent months, have gotten significantly, objectively worse. It was just last month that Russia launched the biggest aerial attack of the war on Kyiv, and the picture next to it is a group that monitors the drones and the missiles and everything that comes over every single night, and they track the paths of those things, and you can see lights it up every night. We're talking hundreds, most nights, hundreds of missiles and drones going into Ukraine. Some nights, all of them going to one city in Ukraine. And so the aerial attacks are happening more often. Just a few days ago, Kyiv had its deadliest aerial attack the entire war. Over 30 people died in one night, over 120 people injured, and this was just the other day. Like things are objectively worse when it comes to Russia's attacks on Ukraine. So how is Ukraine? The shorter answer is not very good. We may have a new president, but Russia does not. So he didn't get the memo, Putin, that things were just supposed to magically change because we got a new president. As we've followed, for those of us who do follow, the back and forth, the tension, and for us who have been closely tied to Ukraine all these years, the no surprises of what Putin does or doesn't do and how he strings people along. So, not good. But how is UBI? Sorry, yes? No. Good question, though. Unless you think I've already said stuff that shouldn't be. No. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, that's all I am going to say about that. So, but it is good to know from being live streamed. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. So, that's fine. But how is UBI doing? contrary to what Ukraine's doing, UBI is doing fantastic. We are doing well in so many ways, and it's so wonderful, and we're praising God for the opportunities that have come. It's been a very good year, both in our academic program and in our humanitarian aid program. And we believe and we see and we feel that God is using UBI in big ways, not just to reach Ukraine, but to unite Ukraine, the churches in Ukraine, and it really is an honor to be doing what we're doing. So as a recap, or a quick recap, since the beginning of the war in February 2022, UBI has gone from being a fully residential biblical ministry training program to a fully online ministry training school and leading a very large humanitarian aid network of preachers and churches across Ukraine, which reaches thousands of people every month. So we are joined in our ministry training program, the academic program, the Bible program, by students all over Ukraine and even in Europe. This year we just graduated with a few students from Poland. These are Ukrainians, but who are living in Poland and in Greece. And instead of students physically coming to us, we are going to them. And despite the fact that studying online isn't anybody's favorite thing, the students are loving their studies, appreciating their studies so much, and even through the way we do things, growing close to one another. This was our last day of school with most of our students, but because of the way things are in the country right now, every day we'll be missing at least a handful due to either electricity problems or other ministry problems, like, a church helps the community every week on a regular basis, and our students will be able to step out of class to do that and then make up the class later that day because everything is recorded. So as I shared a couple years ago, we revamped our entire program and took our 2-year program, fall, spring, and got rid of the last spring to turn it into an 18-month program. We cut some of the fat and took out some of the space, and actually didn't lose all that much in doing so. And now in this program, we focus, there's a serious focus on spiritual formation, and that has been very good. And we've had a whole host of new guest teachers join us, which have rounded out our program well. And in June, we graduated 13 students. And I'll share more on graduation in just a few minutes. Our enrollment is up, also something I personally didn't expect being online during a war. But to give you some perspective, in 2021, we started the school year with 6 students. 2022 was a blip year. 2023, we had 13 new students. Last year, we had 15 new students. This year, we have 15 applications in, possibly 17, and I'm praying for 20. We're already at where we were last year, and it's just amazing. It's getting more people every year, and it's been a lesson to me about prayer, about faith, and what God can do through non-ideal circumstances. And so also, with this new format, the idea was, let's go to 18 months and provide a 6-month optional internship program. Now, when we came up with that, it was like, maybe when the war's over and it'll look kind of like AIM, we'll send them to sort of pre-approved fields and it'll be awesome and complicated. But as it was obvious the war's not ending anytime soon, and our first crop of students to go through the 18-month cycle we're finishing, it was like, all right, let's figure it out. And so what we've done now is just created an internship program at the congregation they're already at their home congregation. And for 6 months, they go through a guided program with us, with assignments. They have to keep schedules, they have to read books, they have to write papers. They are required to follow up some spiritual formation practices in their life. And we have regular meetings with them. And then on their congregation side, the preacher or whatever leaders in their church at the very beginning say, here are what we want you to do. And so for 6 months, they are working as a full-time minister of their congregation. And that began March 1st, and it ends September 1st. The day school starts, we will also honor our first group of interns. And it's been very well received, and the ministers in these churches are so thankful to have extra help. And so it's been great and really encouraging. Here are some of them doing some of the things. Because they're all working in different churches, they all have different responsibilities. Whatever specific church work needs to be done, whether that's teaching, preaching, refugee work, even manual labor sometimes. But for some of the churches, the preachers have said, like, this is great. Now we have someone who can fully focus on reaching out to the refugees and the displaced people in our cities. So it's been great. The other arm of UBI is our ministry network, which UBI has always been about benevolence, but since the war, it has been taken to the next level. And through our humanitarian aid program, we've built a network of churches and ministers all over Ukraine. This also includes specifically helping children's homes and hospitals and orphanages as well. But this is a way to help others shine their lights brighter. Matthew 5:16, Jesus says, "Let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." And I've always thought of UBI as a place where we empower disciples and where disciples empower other disciples. And that includes helping the congregations around Ukraine and helping those congregations shine their lights brighter. And so the primary part of this program is providing thousands of grocery bags every month to different congregations, and those congregations use them however they see fit to help the people around them. So most of the time it's helping displaced people who have moved there and don't have anything. Often a chunk of it is helping their own members who are suffering right now. We have one minister in Kyiv who is big on prison ministries, and because the war has left a lot of prisons kind of high and dry with taking care of them, government taking care of them, they are going to 5 different prisons, I think it's like 3 men and 2 women's prisons, and distributing aid and having church services with them, and congregations are being planted, and it's just very encouraging. So it currently connects and supports more than 30 churches around Ukraine, and also includes a few congregations in Europe. It includes a tiny congregation started by one of our alumni at a military base, and so we send them groceries that they distribute to other guys in the military, and just very encouraging, not only for us and for these reports, but for them. Like, it is so encouraging to hear these preachers talk about how this has really given our congregation a shot in the arm. You know, this is the first time we've had new people in our doors forever, and they're actually wanting to hear what we have to say, not just take what we're giving. So it's been a beautiful thing to watch. We also support a variety of one-time projects in different places. Here's what those bags look like every month. Nope, but I can see that. So with the total number we send out, and it's basically feeding 7,000 people every single day, these grocery bags, the way they go out. So some of the other things that we are able to support, and when I say we are able to support, from the very beginning of the war, we've partnered with Sunset. Sunset has helped us gather the donations. They make them available to us, and then we have a team of people that decide where it goes and how they're used. So this summer, 2 of those one-time things, we're supporting a big children's camp in the city of Elbląg, Poland. Elbląg was a city is a city that had no church for many years, but there was a church building there that belonged to the church we were at in Sopot for a couple months beginning of the war. So that church said, we'd like to give it to some Ukrainian ministers, send them to Elbląg and go for it. You know, start a church. And that church is growing, described as people are hanging out the windows because there's just not a lot of space, but they get a lot of interest. And so this camp was done with kids in that city. Over 100 kids showed up. and went great. Other thing is the ladies' retreat in Sopot, Poland. Sopot, like I said, is where we went initially, began the refugee center. We're bringing people over. And now for the second year in a row, ladies that were there and that are there, and Ukrainian ladies that even returned to Ukraine, all come together and have sort of a reunion / ladies retreat together. And very encouraging and going very well. We also host, I told you about this last year, an annual Serving Those Who Serve retreat, specifically to encourage and equip the leaders and other active members that are in our little network of people we support, but to take care of the people who are taking care of people, to give them real rest time. It's not a seminar, it's not a conference, it's a time they come for rest and fellowship and some real spiritually encouraging activities and time together. It's at a retreat center right outside of Kyiv. It's in the city of Irpin, which is it's like right connected to another city called Bucha, which was one of the cities that was just completely ravished at the beginning of war. But these are small cities that only were important at the beginning of the war because Russia was trying to get to Kyiv on the ground. They're not trying to do that anymore, and so this city basically lives with a lot of peace and quiet because they're outside of the city that gets all the attention. So it's a good place to go. There's a big Baptist retreat center there that we get to use, and we've done it 4 times now. Around 100 people came together, and we heard reports from our partners, and even those that were not able to come sent videos. And it's just an encouraging time to connect and to hear how people are doing and to hug them and to have, for them, quiet nights of sleep. And all of that culminates in our UBI graduation. Like I said, this year we had 13 graduates. Unfortunately, only 7 could join us live. The rest sent videos, but it was such a blessing to see them. Again, this is the first class to have gone through our revamped 18-month program. This is what we do every year, right? With you, we show you these pictures and I tell you good stories. This year, though, as I was getting ready to go to this event, I thought, I'm going to try really hard to make a video out of this event so I can share it with everybody when I get back, so you can hear the voices, see the faces, and get a better idea of what we do. So that's what we're going to do today. It's about 17 minutes long. I do want to say at the beginning that there's an American traveling with me. His name's Ben Williams from Oklahoma. He teaches several of our courses, and he came to be the speaker at graduation. So that's who that guy is, to tell you right off the bat. And then the other thing is to explain, we took the train into Kyiv, spent a day there, then went into Irpin, which is about an hour away, and that's where this conference and graduation and things were. So, that's that.
We're arriving. Welcome to Kyiv. We have arrived. We're in Kyiv, and we've been picked up by Vova. This is Vova.
Hello.
Vova's a graduate of UBI, and he's youth minister at one of the congregations, and does a whole lot of work with our humanitarian aid program. And he picks people up at the train station. All right, here's the plan. Ben's gonna lay there.
That's right. In my preparedness state.
We're going to start the night in our beds, but should the air raid sirens go off, we will move into the safest place in this apartment, on this cot and on that mattress, and stay there while the sirens are on, and hopefully it will be a quiet night.
Oh, that's weird. It's only got one side.
Well, it was not a quiet night. It was a very, very loud night. Laid down to go to sleep probably about 11, 12 o'clock. The sirens went off. And I'm not exactly sure, but it was like 2 a.m. or something. Started hearing a lot of booming outside and a lot of the defense systems going off. And there was just a lot of explosions. They weren't close to us. They're in Kyiv, but not in our area very much. So you'd hear it, you'd hear the buzz of drones, I think. You'd hear the explosions, you'd hear the defense systems. And it was a long night. We kept getting a notification saying that the air raids were intensifying, stay in your shelter, stay sheltered. So Ben and I spent the whole night sleeping in the little hallway when you enter our apartment and feel very tired this morning. Well, what are we doing here today? Why are we in Irpin?
We try to have fun
No, wrong
with
answer.
friends.
We are not here to have fun. We are here in Irpin the night before our student retreat starts. Our student day starts tomorrow. And then the next few days, we're having our retreat with our ministry partners. So those of us that came up today early to get everything ready are here in the park having dinner, having a nice time. We're in the city of Irpin, and it and Bucha were some of the cities that suffered a whole lot in the very first part of the war as Russia was trying to get to Kyiv, the capital, which is just a little bit down the road. And they've put together this makeshift memorial piling all of these cars that were either abandoned or shot up or caught in the crossfire, burned up, and just showing the price, a small price of the cost of war. And it's a little triggering, bringing back a lot of memories of the first days. It is day one. Today is our day for UBI students and graduates who were able to come, which is not everyone. I think it's about half, maybe not even that. But today is just for them. Today is a UBI day, and I look forward to the time we're going to spend.
Half of the audio track is not working. Just so you know. Oh no, that's the interview.
You might remember a story from the book of Numbers of the prophet Balaam.
Помните историю о Валааме из книги чисел?
So strange. I'm not sure what to do. I guess I can hold my mic up to the computer. I don't know why it has one audio track not working, not playing, the other working. Oh, sure. It's for dramatic effect. Sorry.
You might remember a story from the book of Numbers of the prophet Balaam.
Помните историю о Валааме из книги чисел?
Те наказывали нас по своему произволу для немногих дней, а сей для пользы, чтобы нам иметь участие в святости Его.
Учеба, она меня, скажем так, дисциплинировала и дала мне определенного рода, быть как бы более ответственным. Все то, что требовалось и как по курсу, по обучению, все нормативы, сдачи в срок. Это давало тебе такую мотивацию выполнять это все, делать вовремя. Ну, на самом деле это хорошо в любой сфере. То есть в учебе, в работе, в служении, там, в семье, в бизнесе, чем бы ты ни занимался.
Именно в институте я действительно познала Бога, я поняла Слово Его, я получила очень много инструментов для дальнейшего служения.
В Абыни научился слово преподавать в первую очередь. Преподавать, чтобы оно было понятно, чтобы человек понял, чтобы не было расплывчатости проповеди, когда и проповедь должна быть четкая и понятная.
БИ дал мне старт в первую очередь, потому что я пришла вообще с нулевыми знаниями Библии, ничего не знала, не понимала. Все полностью поменялось во мне, и я поменялась, и вообще мои все, то, что я раньше жила, и сейчас это вообще небо і земля.
Так, я вважаю, що я духовно виросла, і це в першу чергу помітно мені самій саме по цьому стану спокою, за яким я, скажімо так, і прийшла до Бога. Це була моя найбільша проблема. Ми живемо в такий час дуже буремний, дуже напружений. Я не знала, як справлятися з цим. В першу чергу християнство як таке, хрещення дало мені оцю базу, але розвинулась вона саме протягом останніх 1,5 року навчання. Ну і зараз продовжується це саме зростання під час стажування. Я дуже вдячна Богові за це.
В первую очередь любить людей, потому что раньше я не сильно была любить, особенно врагов, тех, кто обижал меня. Благодаря знаниям полученным в БИ я научилась прощать, любить людей.
Я благодарю спонсора за ту возможность, которую дали нам учиться. В моем возрасте это я не ожидал этого, что я могу учиться. Но то, что меня научили, я могу это на практике. Пусть Господь благословит их семьи, чтобы они в дальнейшем работали на Божьей ниве.
The day went really well. Had a very nice time with the students. We've got a lot more people show up for what starts tomorrow. And tonight we're having a special movie night. We've brought popcorn, bought sodas, and we're going to watch a movie together. Видео. Okay, today is the first day of our UBI Ministry Network Partners Meeting. This is the 4th one we've done. We call them Serving Those Who Serve Retreats, a time to provide fellowship, prayer, devotional time to the ministers who work so hard, distributing the aid that we're able to get to them. So that day begins now. We have today, tomorrow, and half of Saturday.
Good morning.
So our first activity this morning is for them to break up into groups and have a highs and lows sharing time. Each person is sharing recently kind of a mountaintop experience with some positive and something that they've been struggling with that's really brought them down. And then after each person shares, the next person will pray for them. And they go around in a circle like that.
Я думаю, что здесь очень много внимания уделяется Господу. И вот эти вот
За столом, когда мы сидели, то тоже очень приятно и время проводишь с людьми.
В последнее время я очень хорошо вижу, что гуманитарная помощь объединяет церкви по Украине. Люди с разных городов, люди с разных общин могут познакомиться с другими служителями.
Это важно, потому что мы обмениваемся опытом, потому что каждая церковь по-своему несет это служение, организовывает его. И это важно, делиться опытом. А эти встречи, как встречи с друзьями, уже с теми, которыми ты знаком, со студентами, с преподавателями, это всегда приятно встретить. И приятно всегда находить новых друзей.
Доброго дня всім. Слава Господу нашому. Високий стандарт задали брати, всі встигли до сигналу.
Она занимается непосредственно, также участвует в выдаче гуманитарной помощи. Она ведет учет, ведет документальную работу тех, кто получает помощь.
И вот этот посыл, я сейчас немножко тоже скажу.
Дальше я задаю вопросы, мы обсуждаем, мы столько всего нового узнаем, что...
І завдяки Українському біблійному інституту, завдяки церкві на Позняках, завдяки цьому служінню.
The day has gone really well so far. We've heard from so many of our partners sharing how they're doing, sharing how their ministry's going, and just sharing their hearts about everything. So that has been wonderful. We had a great lunch together, and right now we're back, split up into groups, had a short Bible study with them, and then had discussion questions for them all to get into groups and get talking and sharing among themselves, to share their own thoughts, their own feelings about the subject, and then we'll come back together and talk about what they learned or gained from each other. So after that will be dinner, and then we'll be done for the day until tomorrow morning.
Давайте друге, як ви розумієте різницю між навчати та споряджати або оснащувати?
Как повлияло? На самом деле, первое, что повлияло, это стало больше смирения, потому что ты понимаешь, что каждый твой день может быть последний, каждый твой час может быть последний, ты каждый день проживаешь максимально живя, да, то есть чтобы не количество дней важно стало, а не количество дней в жизни, да, а количество жизни в днях.
Вот в последнее время я очень хорошо понимаю, что такое жить одним днем. Каждый день мы не знаем, что нас ожидает. Каждый день мы не знаем, что будет завтра. И больше на что мы можем надеяться, на что мы можем и должны уповать, это Бог. Мы живем в то время, когда мы все больше и больше должны надеяться на Господа и уповать на Его силу, на Его защиту, на Его охрану и на то, что Он всемогущий наш Отец.
Я знал, что это будет именно так. И вот смотрите. Ты ж сам начинал?
Людей немає, у нас всі приїхали. Бабусі всі прийшли. Всі грамотні. Наталі.
Це останнє ми показуємо приклад своєю поведінкою.
Он такой больше, мне нравится, это микрофончик, я буду.
Today is Friday. Just chilling, listening Brandon.
Вони інколи задають такі питання, які в мене інколи не бувають.
Мы вместе с ним проповедуем в Христе.
Как служителю иногда бывает тяжело, поэтому вот такие встречи, как сейчас, они очень-очень важны, потому что, во-первых, мы видим, что мы не одни, что такая работа ведется везде, мы можем воодушевлять друг друга, мы можем делиться опытом, мы можем просто даже отдохнуть, и это очень важно.
І після цього ось ці саме практики обговорювання, наприклад, більш такого контактного служіння, ділитися тим, що в тебе на серці, насправді. Те, що завжди людина, знаєте, приберігає десь там, внутрі держить. Тут, завдяки організаторам цього мероприємства,
ти отримуєш саме оці маленькі практики, які дійсно працюють. І кожного разу щось нове є. І це насправді круто. Це потрібно мені, але людям це потрібно, мабуть, ще більше. Так що, фактично 2 пункти. Це натхнення і це нові практики.
Вот она, средства. Нет? Здесь можно.
We're about to have our graduation of 2025. 13 graduates, lots of Christians from different churches came to celebrate with us. So we're looking forward to a very special moment in just a few minutes.
Зараз я запрошую Гамау Ігоря Васильовича.
Graduation went very well, had a lovely time, and now we're all enjoying a very big banquet. The retreat is over. We had a wonderful last day together, such a blessing, and now it's time to rest. You want to say anything?
I love this retreat. It's very cool.
What do you have to say, Wova?
I'll be back.
Thank you. Before I say the last things I want to say, I'd love to hear what you saw, or if there was a specific question about what you saw. In your days, yeah. His name is Alexander Rodnaev, Sasha for short, and he has now moved twice because of the war, and most recently moved with most of his congregation to another city safety because where they are is now the front lines, where they work is now the front lines, and he had to move his family as well as a lot of people that needed a place to go. And they had supporters, he's been supporting him to do his work. They found a place to meet. We helped them find a place to meet. They are now a new congregation, a new city, doing new things. No, he's not there. It wasn't there. Yeah. Yes, you're welcome. Any other thing? What did you see? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. One minister said at our first retreat, we were sitting around dinner table, and he said he was part of a church planning team in a city that had no church, and they had been there 8 years and had very little numerical results. And he was saying, before the war, we were so concerned about, making sure we had a nice place and we want to invite people to, and we don't want to offend people, and friendship evangelism and whatever. And he goes, now, after the war, we don't have time for that. Because we have a message we have to get out, and people can accept it or not accept it, but we have to get it out. I thought that was very insightful. Anything else? Yeah, Matt? Oh. You love it when I go over there. Mm. Thank you. Matt? Jim? Yeah. 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 Yep. Amen. So we were there for one of the loudest nights that first night. You missed the audio, but maybe the silence was more dramatic. I don't know. But it was exhausting. Like, you go to bed at night wondering, is tonight going to be quiet or is it going to be loud? Is tonight going to be the night or not? And you wake up the next day exhausted, and then you spend that day exhausted. And I have personal experience of this a couple of times a year. They live this every day, all the time. There's been 3 years of exhaustion, and it's just, my heart hurts. Anything else? Any other questions about what you saw? Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Thank you. You know, something that's an uncomfortable truth is that you can't be comforted unless you're uncomfortable. And the more comforted you can be depends on how uncomfortable you are. And so it makes a lot of sense that there are people responding so positively who are literally lost everything they have, if not some of the people in their lives, and they come to a church that they've heard is still actually giving out aid and saying, is there anything we can have? And then they find comfort they weren't even looking for. So yeah. Peter.
Looking at the war, looking at what's going on, and knowing deep down inside it's not going to end right away, contrary to what's being said by everybody else.
People are exhausted. There is a real exhaustion among day-to-day life, but Ukrainians have always been survivors, and they accept what is. But yeah, they're tired, and you can see it, and you can feel it in regular conversations. It's what makes this retreat so powerful is you get a bunch of tired people together and go, oh yeah, we're not alone. Oh yeah, we're all doing good things, which is why it's so important for us to do that. But yeah, it's become normal life, but people are physically and emotionally tired of it all. That's one other thing. Yeah, it does. And on so many levels, I didn't understand before having lived through this one how many ways war destroys people. Christina? Yes. The UBI has offices in Kyiv. That remains our offices. Our staff is still there. They work in the building. That's also where the Poznyaki Church of Christ meets, which was our congregation. We were there. They are still there. It's a second warehouse of sorts as they get things ready to send off to everybody. It's being, very much used. Okay. Well, if there's anyone who wants to talk any more about these things or have any more questions, you can always feel free to come up afterwards. But lastly, people do ask how we're doing as well. In general, pretty good. Justice is heading into 3rd grade. Eliana's going to be 3 in October. We recently moved from the house we had been renting in Slovakia this whole time to an apartment closer to the city center. We did that 3 weeks before we came here, so I think it's a good move. I haven't experienced much of it yet. But to be honest, 3.5 years into all of this, Katie and I constantly wonder how all this is affecting us, affecting the kids. We continue to live in this weird in-between. We're in a place doing good things, but we're not planning on staying there indefinitely. We're not missionaries to Slovakia, but we're there, and we're sort of there long term now. January will be 3 years in Košice. So should we stay? Should we go? It's a question that we talk about a lot. And earlier this spring, we got serious about it. It was like, while we're accidentally staying here a really long time, and it doesn't look like things are changing soon, so I don't think we're going back to Ukraine, what do we need to do as a family? And it was a few sober days of thinking about it, talking about it, and really wanting to hear what Katie had to say about it. But we came to the decision we seem to always come to. We're doing a good thing right now that not a lot of people are able to do, and we're in a position to have a front row seat to some pretty amazing things that are happening. And it's not easy to be where we are, and the nature of what we're doing now, and so much of what I do being online and all of that, we feel lonely a lot of times. But it feels like we're still absolutely in the right place doing what we need to do. And looking at the great year UBI's had on both fronts, the academic and the aid, and the uniting things in the churches around Ukraine, it's not time to leave that. So we do struggle. Our emotions are up and down about how long and what are we doing here and things like that. But when it comes to really sitting down and deciding, is there something else? The answer always seems to be no, or at least for now, the answer is no. So UBI has grown in ways we couldn't have predicted, and for a long time, we've been talking about the goal of getting back to the way things were. And I think only now, many of us are saying, there is no getting back to the way things were. You can't go back. And I think now I'm getting to the point where I want to say, I don't want to go back. Big things are happening, and UBI's goal to empower disciples to help churches and Christians shine their lights brighter is expanding in ways we couldn't have imagined 4 years ago. So we continue, and we continue to be thankful for your participation. Michelle? No. Well, we had COVID, which gave us some practice for that. No. Nobody. You came to UBI. Yes, absolutely. And I think that's inevitable. Like, I think you cannot replace in person when you're talking about discipleship. But not everybody can come. So is there a middle ground? And I think we're finding it. Yeah, I think we're finding it. So, all right, thank you so much. We thank you so much for your love and your constant support. As Rob mentioned, we do have a website now, and you can give directly to the work of UBI straight from there now. So I encourage you to do that, please. It goes to all of this great stuff. Thank you.